I'm waiting for people to come in. When they do, I'll start speaking. Thank you for being here and thank you for your patience. I guess I'm going to begin anyways, regardless of. There is no waiting around. Okay, first of all, I want to read to you a few short verses. First of all, that's how we're beginning today. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. Psalms 121, 7 through 8. The Lord shall preserve you from all evil. He shall preserve your soul. The Lord shall preserve your going and your coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Psalm 140.4 or verse 4. Keep me, O Lord, from the hands of the wicked. Protect me from men of violence who plan to trip my feet. Psalm 23:4. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I fear no evil. You are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Proverbs 2:8. For he guards the course of the just and protects the way of his faithful ones. Psalm 5:11. But let all who take refuge in you be glad. Let them ever sing for joy. Spread your protection over them, and those who love your name may rejoice in you. Ephesians 6:11. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. Okay, right. What would cause... Hey, how are you? Good to see you. I wanted to talk about, about Hannah Kobayashi, right? The story is a little bit... I don't know what to think of it really actually right now. But there's a lot to think about and a lot to undo in that situation. Let's see what else we got here. God's presence as protection, right? We are all still wondering about it and where she is. That's what I'm saying. Hannah is still missing regardless of what anybody says. We have no proof of life of Hannah Kobayashi. Oh, but the cops said that she was last seen here or there. Hey, I'm supposed to take the cops' word for it? Ha! Darn well, ha. Also, there's breaking news that there was a shooting at a school in Norville, California. See, this is in the background.
When you kiss your children every day when they go to school, do you expect some mad gunman?
See, that's JLR because there's they're speaking about some kind of crazy shooting. And then we had that crazy thing happen this morning to the what was it? The CEO for United Healthcare. That was crazy too. There's so much going on. I don't know where to start. But Hannah is our focus, right? But they haven't released a video of her going to Mexico. Yeah. And look, I know she's brave and everything, all walking into Mexico and everything, but hey, there's something weird about this story, right? Because look, if anything, okay, I don't know. They've been saying, okay, she might have some mental health issues. Regardless of, she functions at a level to where having knowledge that her father is now gone, right? That should have moved her enough, right? To go be with your family, dude, right? Go be with your family. So at this point, my question is, what exactly is keeping her from coming to be with her sister? First of all, I would guess, she seems to be the closest to her sister, maybe her aunt, but it's just odd that she hasn't even picked up the phone to call the operator and say, hey, can you put me through a collect call because I don't have any money, I don't have no way to contact anyone, I don't have my phone anymore, right? If she was safe and able to move about on her own, and she's not doing all these things that I'm talking about, what kind of a person then is Hannah Kobayashi? And I'm not here trying to victim blame or anything else. And but also she's not the victim as far as I know, right? I mean, as far as we all know, they're trying to say that she's safe. Well, how in the heck do we know that? They haven't released a video from her going to Mexico. Was that even her in the photo at the Greyhound? Good questions. Because, hey, if we're going to take law enforcement's word for it, okay, we'd be dumb. Okay? Because, face it, Kylie Rodney didn't drown, but they had no problems saying that she did. But then again, they never investigated it like a crime. It seems to me like they're not looking at this like a crime because text came in from her phone. Yeah, but doesn't it seem weird to anybody else? Because look, she came into LAX, right? And then she had a 1 hour layover. She was to get her flight out. She came in at 9:50, was to get her flight out to New York at 11 p.m. Or I don't know if it was morning or night, but I think it was PM. But anyways, my point is this: if you have a 1 hour layover, you're not gonna ask for your luggage to go to your freaking layover destination. Your luggage is gonna go straight to your destination. The fact that, okay, that's the number one clue. The number one clue, right? I should even write this down because my brain thinks of all these logical things and then I don't write them down. And then, like, it's hard to remember all of them later on. You know what I mean? LAPD and the family have been contradicting each other. I know, but why can't they be in synchronization together? The fact is this: it's suspicious that Hannah didn't stay at the airport to get her connecting flight. It's suspicious that she had two Venmo payments 1 hour from each other. Okay? It's suspicious. All of it is just suspicious. Oh, but she's an adult and she has a right to go missing if she wishes. And we don't need to disclose her to her family where her whereabouts or that she's safe or anything else. I mean, how ignorant and inconsiderate, cold-hearted, and I would even kind of in a way say, well, I'll just say not very nice. That's not being very nice. Mental health issues or not, she functions fine. Look, she's able to get herself plane tickets, hotel rooms, bus tickets, train tickets, tickets to LeBron James or whatever his name is, right? She's able to do all of these things without any issues. I myself personally don't think she's under the control of any controlled substances, right? But I have a strong hunch that she may be being coerced by someone, because these aren't natural movements. You don't just go like from landing to LAX, having a layover, and then leaving the airport, having some kind of dumb reading of sorts, two payments out to Venmo, right? Then she gets on a train or a bus or something and goes all the way to what, Yuba? What the heck on God's good earth was she doing there? Right? And then at the final, at the in the end, what they last said was her phone last pinged at LAX. You mean so she went through all of this stuff and then ended up back at LAX again? And it hasn't been on, and she hasn't sent no messages. She hasn't reached out to anyone else. I mean, if something had happened to her phone, she would have went and got a burner phone. Yeah. And what's with this story about the cops giving her money? Hey, if the cops were like giving her money and she's like saying, oh, somebody, I don't have any money. I don't know what she might have told the police, right? But the lady at the store, if that was really her that she went to, that said that she had seen her and she said, yeah, I'm not from here, I'm from Hawaii, and I don't know, whatever else, right? The 11th of November. Yeah. And the 12th, she allegedly went to Mexico. Well, we don't have any proof of that.com. My issue is we don't have any proof.com. Okay. And regardless of, like I said, she functions at a level that does not indicate that she's absent or distant from her emotions so much that it would not affect her. That don't try to tell me that because she may not have her phone, she is not aware that her father took his own life. To me, that's an impossibility. The whole entire world is talking about it. So there's no way you can convince me that Hannah herself does not know by now that her father took his own life. If that's even a real, if that's real, that's, I'm saying allegedly. I don't believe any medical examiner. Like I said, they lied on the Kylie Rodney freaking autopsy report saying that she drowned without water in her lungs. Right? She went missing from a party and was found deceased in her trunk 2 weeks later, and they didn't see any foul play in that. And they called it an accidental drowning and said she drove herself into the lake. No, not in a million years. Something weird is going on with the Hannah Kobayashi case. That is all there is to it. Okay, look. So, from Hawaii to LAX, 1 hour layover, you can forget about it, right? But the first weird thing was, hey, who would ask the airlines, right? She would have to know by now, and it's unbelievable that a daughter, a sister, right, a cousin, right, because she's not a mother, but in other words, a human being, okay? Because what is it exactly that's so horrible that's keeping her from going to mourn, let's say, with her family right now? Because that's where she's supposed to be, in my opinion. Right? Because at some point, it's like time to set aside whatever it is that you want for yourself and start thinking about people that you are affecting while you're going about your little business, trying to be all private about your little life. Okay? Because the easier way to do it would have been, if that's what she wishes to do and doesn't want her family involved in her life, be a big girl, okay, and tell everyone, since you don't care much about them. I mean, if that's the case, then I'm alleging, right? But so let it be known to everybody, look, I don't want to be involved with you guys. right? For whatever reason it is. I don't need to give you a reason. I don't want you in my life, okay? I'm going off to do my own thing. Don't try to contact me. I'm not going to contact you. Leave me alone, right? That's the adult way to handle things. But all this fishy business, like she's going to go to the LeBron James event, what.com? For what? And where did she get the money to do this? Or was this free at the Grove or whatever it's called? Because as far as I know, do they do that? They just show up at malls and like just give everybody like a free freaking viewing of them and shit, like just because. Right? It seems odd, and it also seems like some of these things were planned ahead of time. The reading, maybe. Maybe. I'm putting a question mark. The reading, right? The so the Venmo was for the reading. So what was the other Venmo payment for? And how much for each one of those? And what's with that funny message that Hannah sent, right? I was tricked out of my funds to look at it's very important that people catch this. She said, I was tricked out of my funds for the key word is for, not to. You understand the difference? She said for the person I thought I loved. For a person I thought I loved. For the person I thought I loved, not to the person I thought I loved. You understand? For is saying that she's giving up her things so that to save this person. In my mind, that's how I look at it. Look, I was I was tricked into giving up my funds for someone I thought I loved. How do you feel about that? Because that's what it's implying to me. She did not say to someone I thought I loved. She said for someone I thought I loved. There's a big difference between for and to, right? To me, in my opinion. It's kind of like, let me think of how to say it. It's kind of like saying I gave up this and that for this person, right? So that they can do this or that, or so that this and that wouldn't happen to them. It right. It's implying more to the story. The for someone I thought I loved is implying more to the story. That's what it's implying to me, right? Now, if you're saying to someone I thought I loved, that's kind of like you're just doing it outright, right? To someone. I gave it to someone. That's like showing to me that's willingness. There's no resistance of any sort. There's no coercion and no intimidation. There's no really any reason if you say I gave it to someone, right? But if you're saying I gave for someone, or am I not thinking this right? Right? I mean, I'm trying to work it out in my own head. But it's kind of like when it's said out loud, I hear more to the story when she used the word for for someone. So it's either implying two things. Like I said, she did it for the sake of this person, or also she's saying for in the way that she's saying no more. It's like for someone I thought I loved. So, in other words, there was an end. There was an end to that connection. That someone she thought she loved, there was a severance there. It was severed, right? Something went awry somewhere along the line, right? Now, is this the ex boyfriend? Because that's questionable. Would that be the person that she gave away her funds to that she thought she loved? That's a question mark, right? Or or is there something else going on? Because if they're trying to tell me and convince me that Hannah left the airport when she had 1 hour layover to go to New York, but see, she planned. She must have, well, it doesn't make any sense. So upon leaving Honolulu, Hawaii, did she make those arrangements there? Evidently not, because she had to wait for her luggage to come back to the airport. It seemed like, right? Because she's like, hey, I had to go through all this bullshit to get my luggage back to LAX. Why? Was her true intention never to go to New York? Was she never planning on continuing that flight to New York? But she seemed so enthusiastic about it, and she had her little itinerary written down on a piece of paper, right? And what diverted the situation? What was it that happened that made everything go awry? Because something is not right with the situation. So instead of her luggage, why would she have her luggage rerouted back to LAX? That makes zero sense. And why would her boyfriend or ex-boyfriend, whether they're broke up or not, why wouldn't he ensure that she was safe and she got on, boarded her plane and whatever? Why didn't he question, like, why are you leaving for an hour? You know what I mean? Like, there's no mention of what the details that we need to know to put my mind at ease on whether or not Hannah is safe and sound right now. Because everybody seems to be so convinced of that, but I'm just not there. I've never been there with this case. Look, she got either a train or a bus ticket, right? There should be video of her getting that, right? And where her destination was from there, okay? And there should be video of that, okay? And what about the video at the store where she spoke to that lady and said the cops had given her money? So you mean that she would go all the way to Yuba from LAX, right? And just to go then all the way back to LAX, and then her phone stopped working at that point? Because I'm confused. Right at this point, I'm very confused. What is going on here? It doesn't make any sense to me. There is no logic happening in the Hannah Kobayashi case for them to say, look, this is a willing missing case. Since when do you ever know that anybody goes willingly missing and then like has all these receipts? There's a trail of receipts. Like if somebody's gonna vanish, they're not gonna want to be leaving a trail of where they're going and where they've been. That to me is more implying the possibility that she's being coerced by someone, and they're making her go through all these different motions and movements, right, and activity to make things appear to be normal. Okay? Because and what was her father's train of thought? Okay, we have to talk about that. What was his train of thought? He was there for 11 days looking for her, putting out flyers, speaking to everybody, and all this stuff, right? So I don't so much think it was guilt from the past. If that's even, because I'm alleging that he took his own life, even though it's reported now on record that this was of his own doing. Okay. Well, they must have video confirming that and this and that, but I haven't seen any of them, so I'm just alleging that he did it to himself. Either way, there's multiple, they said multiple blunt force trauma. Now, if you fell from a parking garage that's like 3 stories, wouldn't you just have one blunt force trauma? Why would it be multiple? That doesn't make sense. The point of impact is where it would be the most evident, right? But so, in my opinion, it was not his guilt of the past, of his absence in Hannah's life, or the disconnect between the two of them throughout the years. But in my opinion, it was more of the dread, right? And the dread and the fear of the outcome of the story, right? My God, I don't want to stick around to hear the outcome of the conclusion of the end of my daughter's life, if God forbid that were to occur. So he made the decision, you mean, to take his own life? That doesn't make any sense to me, because the future the future is stronger than the past, right? Tomorrow is stronger than today, because today, today will be gone, right? So it's like the future is more important and more valuable than the past, because the past you can't do anything about. You can't turn around and go back and do things over again, but the future is still unfolded, right? It's yet to unfold itself. The future holds opportunity, it holds enthusiasm, it holds all these things. The past don't hold any of that. Okay, the past is just gone. So in my mind, he would not throw away, right? You mean he came to the conclusion that the outcome of Hannah's story would be one that he wouldn't be able to bear, or didn't want to hear? That seems like not very probable, right, to me. It could be possible, but not probable, at least not in my opinion. Because although, yeah, sure, there was lost time, disconnect, right? All of that distancing, but you can make up for it if you're around and you apply yourself, in which it appeared by every means that he wished to make up for it and have precious, still valuable time together. That's why he was there. So and I understand, right, being under that kind of stress, looking for your child and everything, how much it could be. There's tremendous um turbulence going on, right, in a certain individual that's in that kind of position, without sleep, right, eating properly or anything else like that. But still, I still think that the future is more valuable than the past, and that he would, who, why would you throw away the possibility of the bonding that may have existed in the future? Hi Shannon, it's great seeing you. Love and blessings. Just gonna listen in, mamas. Sounds great. So all these things are in my mind, right, going through my mind, and I don't feel at ease with what they're telling us. I just darn well don't. I darn well don't. you know and it's, why did she request her luggage to be rerouted back to LAX? Why did she miss the 1 hour layover flight to New York? Why did she leave the airport, right? Why did she go to that James event? Why did she go do that reading, right? Why did she then get on a train or a bus or whatever it was and end up in Yuba? Okay. And then to backtrack again, and then her phone, the last known ping to it was back at LAX. This doesn't seem all weird to anybody else. It seems like someone's, to me, she's most likely, right? Unless she's completely disconnected from life, because I know they mention her having maybe some mental health issues, but still, that does not, to me, that's not sufficient enough to validate her actions as of late. Okay, because sure, her phone's not on anymore, right? It's been disconnected or turned off or whatever it is. But by now, for sure, in my opinion, she has to have knowledge of her father not being with us anymore, because this is a worldwide case. Okay? In every household around the world, people now know about Hana Kobayashi. Okay? And it doesn't make sense to me on why she would give up her life in Hawaii to choose to not want to be involved with her family anymore, take a flight to buy a ticket to LAX, then a forwarding flight to New York, to, you mean to let that go and throw away that money for the heck of it? Just because she wanted to get away from her family? Right? And the mental health thing doesn't play a part, in my opinion, because look, she's capable of doing all these adult things, booking flights, booking hotels, right? Going here, going there, sending Venmo. She had her own house, allegedly, which she sold it for whatever God known reason. It doesn't make sense. Right? Why would she get that far away from LAX? That sounds nuts. And she told her family, look, this is particularly stands out to me, because she said, I was tricked into giving up my funds for someone I thought I loved. That there's a clue there. There's more to that story, because she chose to use for someone I thought I loved versus saying I was tricked into giving up my funds to someone I thought I loved. To someone I thought I loved. So, in my opinion, in my mind, when you're saying to someone I thought I loved, you've already disconnected from that person. You don't want anything to do with them anymore. But when you're saying I was tricked into giving up my funds for someone I thought I loved, that means that you're doing it. You're trying to save them from something, right? You're doing it for that person, so you're trying to help them with something. In my mind, that's how I see it. And that's what those words clearly indicate to me. Right? And what about this? Oh, so I think someone's trying to steal my identity. And then they said, are you in New York yet? And she answered back, not yet. Right? And then she said, I may need some help getting there, back to the airport. How come? Right? Why wouldn't she, if she didn't want to be involved in, or her family involved in her life anymore, why not be a big girl and say, look, I don't want nothing to do with you guys. I'm going my own way. Just don't bother me, like I said earlier. Right? Lay it down how it really is. But now, after all that's happened, you mean she's still not coming forward? She's still not going to be with her family to mourn with her family the passing of her father? Now, that's even more weird. It was already weird before, but now that's really weird. She's not behaving proper. What is she, under some kind of freaking spell? Was she hypnotized? Because I don't think she's under any substances at all. At all. I just don't think that about her, right? I don't get that feeling about her. Like she wants to, everybody's saying she's so free spirited, she wants to do what she wants to do and this and that. But yeah, but that doesn't give you the right to be ignorant, inconsiderate, and immature. Right? Because see, I'm trying to have the discernment to give Hannah the benefit of the doubt, because I don't like to give people the benefit of the doubt, because mainly because people haven't earned it. Right? Because as far as I know, people are inherently not good anymore. That just isn't a reality that we live in anymore. The dark energies of the world is surpassing the light, in case you haven't noticed, for a few centuries or whatever it is. But right? And it's kind of like, it annoys me because all of the mystery and all the things that we don't know are all because of lies coming from, you know, the evil one and the enemy and the dark side and the, and the plots that they freaking like um set up, right? And I just can't take any law enforcement's word for anything. FBI, I don't believe them either. It's like, hey, if you guys are saying now that the word is out, Hannah's family all knows, allegedly, you guys are saying that she's fine and this was a willing missing persons case. Well, doesn't like the rest of society deserve and like should have their hearts at ease over it, over her being safe and sound? Because I'm not. I have zero clue of where Hannah's whereabouts are, what her conditions are, where she's at, who she's with, or if she's even here anymore. And people are trying to say, like, hey, there's no evidence that she was in any danger, that she was being trafficked or anything else. But if you don't treat it like the urgent situation that it is, okay, things get things fade away. The most important time is the first 48 hours. Now we're going like over 2 weeks. Oh, her last known location was this and that. Well, what about since then? And what is happening with her phone? Did she not pay the bill? Did somebody turn it off? Did it like go, like, did it lose all the charge in the battery and that's why it's no longer like, what's the deal with the phone? Where is the phone? Like, you don't just go missing and then do all these activities. They're saying she's willingly missing, then why is she leaving a trail of everywhere she goes? And is there still a trail of where she's going now? I need solid proof and evidence of Hannah Kobayashi being alive, safe and sound, or I'm not taking anyone's word for it, period. Okay? Because I already had high hopes that they were going to do the right thing in the Kylie Rodney case, that they were going to investigate, that they were going to go out there and reenact the freaking everything, how it happened. They were going to track down burner phones and everything else. None of that was done. They just waited because they knew that they would be able to get away with saying that it was an accidental drowning, even without water in her lungs. That's a brazen move to make, and one that I don't accept, and one that is wrong. Okay, but I need proof of Hannah Kobayashi being alive and well, or that's it. That's darn well it, because I don't believe them. I need it verified literally. Okay. Then it's like, see, like what I was saying about her father, it's kind of like, that's the only thing that I can imagine that would have been so horrific to make him do it if he did it, allegedly, right? Is because the future is more important than the past. It seems weird to me because everything is a gamble in a sense and a choice, as we know in life, right? So you're always weighing things out. You're always doing profit loss analysis in your life, strategy, I guess you could say, or next um motives or plans or intents or whatever it is. So when you outweigh what was lost and what would never was with what could be and the hope that the future holds, I find it hard to believe that he would have chose to. So in other words, in my mind, he threw away not only the past that's already gone, that he cannot do anything about, but even worse yet, he threw away the future. Right? And I'm not victim blaming. I'm just saying on a subconscious and conscious and logical and common sense level, okay, on a realistic level, that's how one would have to kind of like play it out in their own mind. You'd have to go through, play it out all the way, because I mean, you make premature decisions and choices on things that I don't know. I guess I don't really understand how that feeling might be, but I can kind of imagine it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to stick around to hear the conclusion or the outcome of the end of my child's life. That's understandable. But he put all of his everything into it. And something isn't adding up with that. I just find that hard to accept too. Is that really a real thing? Did he just choose to do that and that we're just supposed to accept it now? And because I know we don't have a right to know, but it's just when things don't make sense, that's because people aren't telling the truth. Yeah. And so who's not telling the truth and why.com? Yeah, why? Why? They don't have rights to hold any secrets about any case of any potential foul play or criminality or malevolent activity going on with any individual, regardless on whether you're their family member or not. It's called genuine concern. Husband indicted Brad Simpson, indicted for MURDER of missing wife Suzanne Simpson. Say what? OMG. This world has gone crazy. Oh, yeah. And what about the CEO of United Healthcare? That was crazy. That was crazy, all right. The dude sat out there, I guess, and waited. There's an image of him right there pointing the pistol and everything. My God. My God. Yeah, but this dude made so much money, dude. Okay. He could have had freaking, like bodyguards, right? He had enough money to hire 24/7 bodyguards to be around him. Okay. This was all, it could have been avoided, in my opinion. Right? Because if he had bodyguards with Kevlar, and plus, being that he's a CEO of a company and he makes that much money, you would think that, in my opinion, like Elon Musk, Donald Trump, all these people, they need to be conscious and aware that people are like twisted these days. They need to protect themselves. Wear Kevlar, bro. Right? And I know it only protects the like center part of your body and everything, but that's better than no protection at all. Yeah. Because evil roams around us. See, that's the problem. You can't just think that everybody's all inherently good. Please. Please. For some reason I can't help it. And I can't control myself. I must speak of Sammy Smith. Samantha Smith, don't you remember? Yeah. Sammy Smith, the little ugly little liar. Yeah. Look, she tried to say that she was going to get a ride home with Kylie when she never needed a ride home with Kylie. But look, how else would you look like the least person to be suspect if you were to put yourself in the middle of all the action, right? They'll be looking for the suspect everywhere and you'll be right there in front of them. That's exactly what Samantha Smith did. Oh, little, right, right, right. Because if you're gonna just outright blindfoldedly trust any of these people, God help us all at that point. Ridiculous. Anyways, right? And also because of the fact that that's what facilitated her to be in the middle of everything. also is because she knew, right? By her saying I left at 12:25, that would have distanced her from the 12:33 time frame, right? And hey, maybe that could be even a true thing. I'm gonna choose to believe it. So Sammy left at 12:25. That, however, does not indicate that she wasn't present when Kylie's life was taken. And I can guarantee you 100,000% the probability of her being there is more likely than not. Okay. She knew though. She's smart, right? She knew that she had to literally make sure that she was not only distancing herself from that place and that situation, but that it was literally something that they could look and say, "Oh yeah, she left at 12:25." Yeah, but see, I'm under the impression for some reason and allegedly that Kylie lost her life at midnight, and then 3 minutes later they shut off Life 360 because at that point nobody would have any reason to find her ever again. Okay? The only reason why they kept her phone going until the car went into the water is otherwise it would have looked more suspicious. You can't turn off the Life 360 and then shut the phone down immediately after. Okay? And then 20 minutes later the car goes into the water. That's something's fishy about that, right? But they got away with whatever they did to Kylie, which was taking her life by not having evidence of trauma, bruises, right? And any of that stuff. That's how I know her keys weren't, it wasn't like a debate over her keys. There was never that question. Whoever put her into the lake had possession of her keys. But then the keys had to be in the car and everything had to look like Kylie did it to herself because that was the whole objective of how they were going to get away with what they did. Right? Because that would have blew everything out of the water. Maybe that was the wrong thing to like use to express myself in that, but because anything that would, because to me the whole thing stands out as foul play. Something is wrong. Kylie went missing. No, she didn't. Kylie was lured somewhere, lost her life, and then somebody made up some story that she was seen on the side of the road asking for assistance for a dead battery when that wasn't even a situation. that that was never a thing, but they needed to throw that in. That's what, that was the first thing that helped it take off, that give it flight, let's just say, right? That's what ignited the whole everything out of proportion, right? Was Nick G, right? And by now he should have came forward and said, you know what, I made a mistake. The person I seen, if that was even something that even happened, in which I am not convinced of at all, period whatsoever. Not only that, he never contacted no sergeant or detective like he said he did. That's, there's no record of that, which means it didn't happen, period whatsoever, in my opinion. Period. Regardless of. But I mean, if Daisy Cole was saying that she was Kylie's best friend or Kylie was her best friend, no, but Daisy Cole is her best friend, so if not Kylie, would it have been Daisy? Right? It's a reasonable question. It's a reasonable question. Did it happen to be Kylie because Daisy was out of town, or was Daisy out of town after all? We don't know, right? Because according to Megan, she was at a concert that was on a completely different day. So we already know that's a bunch of crap. We have no we have no proof either way. Just like we have no proof either way whether Hannah Kobayashi's even still here, right? Because to me, a person would have a guilt trip over her dad not being here. She would come forward. She might even try to hurt herself, right? She would take actions to show that she's a human being. Now, what is all this? No one knows where she is unless they do, and we don't. And this whole thing about her family knowing where she's been, that isn't right either. Something is wrong with the situation. And why did the cops choose to, like, with certain cases, they'll just play out a freaking live video? Like, they won't just take a screenshot as evidence that somebody was somewhere, right? But they'll show the actual footage of it. So why are we only getting like these little glimpses of Hannah being seen at these different places? Why not show like a 5 second of the frame of the footage, 10 seconds of the footage? Why does it have to be a still shot of the last known whatever? Because I'm not going for that. Anybody could say that, right? But that whole thing, like, I was tricked into giving my funds, giving away my funds to for someone, not to someone, but for someone. For someone. So she's doing it for someone, right? There's a reason why. Do you understand what I mean? I gave my everything for someone to help them accomplish or to save them from something. That's what it means in my mind. I don't know how you think of it, but that's what I'm thinking that it might mean, allegedly. But it's complicated working out the truths from all the lies when we don't know who to trust, right? And we're left to determine things on our own, in our own way, by discernment, by way of discernment, and seeking and asking God to show us details of things that we might not know unless we ask, right? But yeah, I guess I got out everything. I needed to go on a little rant about Hannah because it's bothering me that she hasn't surfaced, and I don't know why that is, but I guess we'll have to be patient and wait on that. And my condolences go out to the United Healthcare CEO that lost their family member today, this morning in New York City. And shame to all of the people that are doing devious things for malice reasons, and shame on all of them for having the darkness in their heart when there's light and abundance of it. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your patience. And as always, justice for Kylie Rodney. We'll see you next time. God bless you. God bless America. Bye for now.